What's going on? A to Z Sports, Sam Phelan, Easton Freeze coming at you. Different setup for me this morning. Easton, you pointed it out. Childhood bedroom stream for me. Back in Chicago. I will head back to Nashville later this afternoon. Be back in the regular setup tomorrow afternoon. But for today, making do with what we've got. Hopefully, made some changes. So the Wi-Fi, hopefully not going to be a problem like it was for me on prime time on Tuesday night.
Oh, no.
But we got a good show here coming at you, even with a different setup, talking a little bit of Will Levis and the criteria which will be judged by moving forward. Obviously, the next 7 games, as we wrap up the 2024 season, are going to be judgment time. This is the reckoning for Will Levis and his Titans tenure as we figure out who the heck is going to be this team's quarterback moving on. Easton and I are going to go over some of that criteria, whether we agree or disagree with Brian Callahan's criteria, and then address that big old elephant in the room that doesn't seem to go away at right tackle, Nicholas Petit-Frere, and a theory I potentially have about what is best or not best for the organization moving forward that Easton does not know about. Wrapping things up with a special bonus trivia because Austin Stanley very salty that him and Easton did not perform well on trivia yesterday without me. So we'll see how it goes today.
They were asking us about senators from the 80s. What are we talking about?
Also very upset about the fact that they didn't do well on trivia. It's okay, guys. I'm here to save the day on a Thursday morning as we
you would have killed 80s senator trivia yesterday, I'm sure.
You know me, that's my niche category.
Yeah, it's your favorite topic.
All right. Well, Easton, tell the folks what to do here before we get into all of it.
We got to like the show this morning. Help us out on Facebook, on YouTube. Hit that like button for us. Easiest way that you can be a friend to the show this morning is by liking that show and then hop in the comments like our buddy Austin. Hello, Austin. Bork, Rooney, Gene, Corey, Scott, Curtis, Andrew, Andre, all the fellas in the chat. Good morning to you all. Jump in there with them, and we'd love to hear your thoughts on the Levis criteria this morning and the right tackle woes, and then whatever Sam's theory is on what's best for this. I'm very excited to hear what he has in mind. It sounds like he's going to fix the franchise this morning. So tap in for us.
Yes.
And, some are saying
all the answers. Some are saying I should be the general manager. 60% of people, in fact, are voting on my Twitter poll saying I should be the general manager.
I've heard that before somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. Who would do something like that? I have no idea.
A very silly person.
All right, so let's do it officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered as always by the BetMGM app. I'm Sam Phelan. He's Easton Freeze, and this is A to Z Sports, Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, going live on weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show tweeted out segment by segment on the Twitter X timeline. You can also check out the TikTok, Instagram, and Threads for more Titans content, written content at atozsports.com. Got to thank our sponsors this morning because they make it happen for us while helping out all of you. Wilson County Hyundai. Make Wilson County Hyundai a part of your new car buying process in Lebanon or at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Farm Bureau Health Plans make or better coverage, better rates, better service. Learn more about a plan for you at fbhp.com/ATOZ. The Bone and Joint Institute, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. boneandjointtn.org is where to go to schedule your appointment with them and be part of the solution to end littering at t.nobodytrashestennessee.com. Easton, King VZ comes in, $9.99. Lock in, like the show.
$10 for the Easton and Sam show. Come on, King. Too kind.
The Levis Lover show, some are saying in the chat.
Oh, no. Terrible news for the chat. Just a travesty. But you know what?
We're talking Levis today.
All day. Let's do it.
All right. Well, let's talk Will Levis because, we've talked ad nauseum here about how the I apologize, by the way, for any dog barking in the background / distracted Sam. We've got a little bit of we're figuring it out. It's a work in progress.
That's fine. We'll work through it.
We've talked ad nauseum here a little bit about the next 7 games for Will Levis and this idea that, I know, Easton, you and I sat on the show when we said it was now or never. Right? He had to go. And what did go look like exactly? And, we created some statistical sort of markers in our brain for what we wanted the back half of the season to look like. But I think the conversation becomes more and more relevant with every game that Will Levis plays and looks pretty solid. And so far, we are 2 games in with him looking pretty solid and then him looking even better on his pretty solid and, still some things to work on. But it really does make you wonder exactly what the Titans are looking for. Because while Will Levis played what I thought was his best game of the year against the Minnesota Vikings, they still scored 13 points and came up short of the win. And yet they had some points taken off the board. But there seems to be a slight disconnect, between Will Levis playing well and the fact that the Titans could win some games. So I don't know. It makes the criteria a little bit more questionable. Are we just judging Will? Are we judging Will his ability to win? Are we judging his ability to operate the offense and put up numbers? And points are just kind of a more of a team thing than a quarterback thing. I think there's a lot of interesting ways of looking at this.
Yeah, it's a team sport. And, I'll just go ahead and rip it off the top so I don't have to repeat it all show. Wins aren't a quarterback stat. I've said it on the show multiple times. It is not really an opinion so much as it is just a statistical fact. It's a team sport. Wins are not a quarterback stat. Quarterbacks are very important to winning football games, but that does not mean that they are the reason you win or lose football games. Maybe this morning we're going to talk about whether or not points are a quarterback stat, which is an interesting conversation. Ultimately, whether you believe wins or points are a quarterback stat, whatever you think, the quarterback's very important to those things. And this team has to score more points. And at the end of the day, you can be a fantastic quarterback between the 20s. But if you're not cashing in when you're in the red zone, you're going to be dinged for that. This is no bueno. You got to score the points. And so I think it's going to be an interesting discussion this morning as we hear from Brian Callahan here in a moment about what the Titans' personal bar for Will Levis is in-house, what they're looking for, how they're judging him, and how they are recognizing, hey, this is a team sport. We win and lose as a team. Will Levis is not going to be graded based on pure wins and losses the rest of the year, as he shouldn't be. So I don't know if we want to ask the question or maybe we want to play the clip first. What we want to do here?
We can go to Brian Callahan, but okay. Yeah, it is interesting because Easton, when you and I went over this idea of like, what does it look like if Levis earns the 2025 job with his play in 2024? I'm not sure I had considered a scenario where Will plays very well consistently and the team still loses every single game.
Right.
And maybe that's where we're headed. Maybe we are headed to a world where the Titans finish 2-15 or 3-14 or whatever, and Will Levis is still like looking solid and looking okay.
I have seen the rest of their schedule. That is not possible. He's either going to look good and they'll win a couple of these games against a much lighter schedule in the back half, or he will look bad and they will lose. You're not getting an awesome Will Levis game and in both Jaguars meetings and losing both games.
Well, I'm not sure you get an awesome Will Levis game, but do you get another solid Will Levis game and like find
it would take a defensive collapse and we've seen this, a special teams collapse. I don't see it. You'd have to have a weird good Levis game collapse somewhere else at least 3 times, because 3 of these games are eminently winnable.
I do think you could be looking at week 15 though, through week 15, the Titans will have played 14 games. I think there's a world where they're 3-11 and they're 1-5 since Levis came back, with losses to the Chargers, Vikings, Texans, Commanders, and Bengals. And he could have played very well in all 6 of those games and still have them be 1-5. I don't think that's crazy.
I don't either.
Which is
because
why
Washington and the Bengals and Washington, I mean, especially against those teams, because I don't know if people realize this. I was talking to somebody last night. The Titans are, after this week, they will have finished a stretch in which they have played 6 of the top 7 defenses by DVOA against passing. So 6 of the 7 hardest defenses to pass against they have played in the last 6 weeks, if you include this game they're about to play. And then after that, it lightens up dramatically. The Bengals, the Commanders, even though they're good teams, that they will run the score up on you. Defenses, you can score on those guys.
This version of Will Levis is going to go over 300 against defenses like that.
I agree. So I think those games are going to lend themselves to, he is continuing to trend up and looking better and better. And, maybe they lose those games 27-37 because those teams can score a gajillion points and the defense starts to fall apart.
Yeah.
And you're right. That would lend itself to an interesting conversation here.
Well, because then, I mean, like one of the things that I said Levis has to do is take the Titans out of a position to replace him, not give them one of those top 3 draft picks, or whatever, and, is there a world where they're still picking in that range and they still have an opportunity? Like maybe, but Brian Callahan talked about it and kind of said what you said. Like, wins not a quarterback stat, but mainly just that Will Levis would not be judged by his wins and losses when they're evaluating his 2024 season.
So, obviously the NFL is a wins and losses type of business.
Yep.
And Will was clearly frustrated after Sunday's game at not having led this team to very many wins. How much is that a part of the overall evaluation process that you go through with him? Because it's not all on the quarterback, but then again, in some respects it is.
Yeah, that to me is one of those things where there's a lot of other things that got to be better too. It's not just on the quarterback. We only have 2 wins in our, whatever it is, 9 tries now. So I hesitate to put any of that on purely just a quarterback evaluation. Yeah, wins. Can he elevate the team? Can we win games? That's part of it. But there's a lot of other things that got to go into playing better around him that factor in. So I wouldn't necessarily put that in this point right now, the pure wins and losses on the quarterback. We got a lot of other things that we got to do better too. So that all factors in. But yeah, at the end of the day, we're all judged. Myself, Will, everybody here is judged on wins and losses. Ultimately, that's the production that we all seek, and that's how we're judged ultimately at the end of every year is did we win enough games? Did we compete? Are we in position to make the playoffs? Are we not? All those things. And, that ultimately is what it comes down to, but that's not necessarily how I evaluate the whole process.
So, Easton, I think we're both in agreement. Fair from Brian Callahan here, as he says, wins not fully on the quarterback. And while, we're all judged by our wins and losses, that's not going to be the deciding factor when it comes to Will Levis's future with the team. However, like I said earlier, Will Levis's future with the team may be determined by wins and losses.
Bingo.
Not because the Titans' evaluation of him changes by wins and losses, but because of the position that the organization is put in by
Dang
wins.
it. We have the same take. You're all over it. You're all over it with
this.
Yeah.
I mean, like the idea that, okay, you can not be sitting there sour grapes about Will because you lost 20-17, but you're scheduled to pick number 2 overall in the NFL draft right now.
It's opportunity cost. It's what you and I talked about. What was it? 10 days ago, or whenever it was. It is about what their opportunities are when the season ends. Like, what does their grocery store of quarterback options look like? If they're shopping in the Whole Foods, they might find some things that they like, as opposed to heading down to the wall. If they're in the Walmart section and it's bargain bins around here, it's easier to stick with Will Levis. But if you've got some top shelf stuff, even if you looked good, we lost a lot of games. I don't know, man. You got to take the guy. You got to take the guy. Your Bears just did this, right? Your Bears just did this.
Well, they did it reverse, right? I mean, they one year the Bears chose to stick it out. They didn't love the quarterback situation. Right. Justin Fields had done enough, and then the next year you're sitting there and Fields got even better and you improved.
But like last year, if they're picking 7th.
Oh, I agree.
You know what I mean? But because they were like, well, we have Caleb Williams in our lap. Sorry, Justin.
Yeah.
And that can happen to Will Levis this year.
Fields was looking better and better and better. And there was this idea of, hey, I think we can actually win some games with Justin Fields. Maybe he is the future. And then it's Caleb Williams. And you go, okay, well, if we can get one of these top guys. So the thing that Will needs to do still, and every game I'm trying to judge this, he either needs to make it not worth the Titans' while to take that quarterback, right? And what I mean by that is now you're weighing the opportunity cost, not necessarily of Shedeur Sanders versus Will Levis, straight up. That's not what you're doing.
Right.
What you might be doing, Shedeur Sanders or Will Levis and the flurry of picks that could come from trading down from number 2 or number 1.
Or the epic player you would draft right there instead of a quarterback.
Right.
Yeah, an awesome edge guy. Yeah.
So you're whatever that situation. Maybe it's number 1 overall, right? Now you're like, well, is it we draft a quarterback, or do we just take Travis Hunter? And
right. Do you want Will Levis and Travis Hunter, or do you want just Shadir Sanders?
Right.
There's a conversation to be had there.
That is the opportunity cost that Will Levis is balancing. And then he's also talking about what you said. Don't give them the top shelf ability, and you solve the problem. So that brings us to our first question today. We're going to ask the question, how many games do the Titans need to win for the rest of the season to miss out on drafting a quarterback in the first round? How many games do the Titans have to win the season to miss out on drafting a quarterback in the first round, or at least these premium guys?
Right.
These guys that we think, at what point would the Titans be like, you know what? We're good. We're fine. We don't need so how many games? You guys sound off in the chat while you guys let me know. I'm going to tell you all about my friends over at T-Dot, because nobody trashes Tennessee, and you can be part of the solution to end littering. Did you know that there's 88 million pieces of litter in Tennessee's roadways right now? It's a big problem. We can all be part of the solution. T-Dot spends over $23 million each year cleaning up litter, but they can't do it alone. You can help by making simple changes. Stop littering, pick up litter when you see it, join local cleanups. Every action counts. Tennessee needs all of us to step up. So be part of the solution today and help keep Tennessee beautiful. Visit nobodytrashestennessee.com to get involved and see how you can make a difference.
We're also brought to you by BetMGM, the sports book born in Vegas. Sign up today using our bonus code ATOZ Sports to get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets. So whether you're cheering on the Titans at the stadium or at your favorite Music City sports bar, you're always going to be able to get in on the action with the BetMGM app right in the palm of your hand. Enjoy the best parlay selection options, boosted odds specials, daily promotions, so much more. Download that app today. Use our code ATOZ Sports when you sign up and experience the football season like never before. BetMGM, an official partner of the Tennessee Titans. You are muted, my friend. There it is.
I asked how many more games do the Titans need to win this season to put them in a spot where they don't take a quarterback in the first round, where you can't get the elite talent, where they say, you know what, we're good. We'll roll with Levis in 2025. What does the chat have to say about that one?
Let's see what the chat has to say about that one as I click on over there. All right, we got some numbers here in the chat. I'm seeing, and I think some people, so I think most people took this to mean how many more, not total. How many more on top of the two that they have?
That is my interpretation. How many more? But
okay, well, some people, it's kind of back and forth. So I'll just read them and we'll figure it out from there. Kendall says 3. Jay says 2 to 3. I imagine that's 2 or 3 more. 2 more, 3 more, 2 more, 3 more, 2 more. 1 more, says Duran. 5, says Ken. A couple 4s from Rooney, Kyle, and
5
John.
To me is like, that is 5 total.
Same. I think so too. Because like 6 and 5 from Curtis and Yuri. I don't know. It's fine. We'll talk through it here. 6 from Kenneth. I'm seeing a lot of 2s and 3s. I think 2 and 3 is the most common answer. So folks think the Titans need to get to 4 or 5 wins minimum for Will Levis to have some semblance of job security.
Yeah, I think it's close. I think the line is 2.5. Right? I mean, if we're setting a line for this,
right?
I think it's a third game. I think the third one is the key. You look at the schedule, you can easily say maybe they can win both games against the Jaguars. That would set you up for 4-13, but I think at 4-13, you're still probably picking in the top 5. I think there's a real jump if you can grab one of these other games and get your 5th win of the season, which would require you to go 3-4 the rest of the way. So you'd have to have a bit of a turnaround here and play more consistent football than we've seen them capable of so far this season. But I think if you get a 3rd win, that would be my number where I see, like, I'm looking at Tankathon, 2-9, 2-8, 2-8, 2-8, 2-8. But like, there's already almost every team except 9. There's only 5 teams with 2 wins. So I think 4 wins is going to still have you in that bottom 5 sort of tier when it's all said and done, especially as some of these teams start to play each other. So for me, Easton, I think if they get a 3rd victory for the rest of the year, finish with 5 wins, now you're looking at maybe they're picking in the 8 to 10 range, 7 to 10 range. And then Will Levis, I think, has a much better shot of remaining the team's quarterback if now the top two guys are probably off the board.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's where I come in on it.
Yeah, I mean, so the way I approach this is just thinking historically, how many wins do the top 3, top 5 teams picking in the draft have?
Yeah.
And typically the number 1 overall pick goes to the team that wins 1 or 2, on some years 3 games, right? And on some years 0 games, on a year 0 games. But typically I'd say the average is probably a 2-win team is who's picking first. It's hard to only win 1 game in the year. And to get into that top 5, we think back to last year, the Titans picking at 7 and they had 6 wins. So to get into that top 5, again, historically, and I wish I'd done this research, but I'd imagine if you get to that 5-win mark, you're flirting with being out of the top 5 usually. My answer is really dictated by what I think of this draft class, which is still very preliminary, and I've not done a ton of research on it. So everything I say about the draft is subject to change until January, honestly. But I think this is a 1 quarterback class. I think the only guy worth taking in the top 5, top 10 is Shedeur Sanders, personally. And I think that that's going to be reflected by NFL teams. Now, eventually we typically somebody talks themselves into overdrafting at least 1 or 2 guys by the time April rolls around. But
even if you view it as a 1 quarterback class like you do, which I think
you always get 1 more.
There's a good argument for. I think the league probably views this as a 2 quarterback class with Sanders and Ward,
right,
and then a significant dip. And so to me, it's, when you have 2 quarterbacks who are clearly the best 2 quarterbacks, even if it's big gap, Ward will end up being in the top 5. Like Ward will end up.
I'm not sure I'm with you on 5. I'm definitely with you on 10.
Dude, enough teams are going to need a quarterback that are, yes, top 10 for sure.
My reasoning honestly is because there's some really strong other top 5 talent in this class that I think it'll depend on how it shakes out, because if you get non-quarterback needy teams in that top 5, they may just be happy to gobble up the edge and cornerbacks that are up there and the receivers.
I would be surprised if like the Titans were picking 7th, let's say they were in the same spot as they were last year. I have a hard time seeing one of the top 2 quarterbacks making it to 7 in a league that has now, like, let's also go through Tankathon. These teams that are in the top 7, New England does not need a quarterback.
Right.
Vegas does. Giants do.
Yep.
Cleveland does. The Jets do, especially if they're going to release Aaron Rodgers, like is speculated. Jacksonville, who knows? Because they won't. But there is a handful of teams in there. You also have Dallas in the conversation. You've got New Orleans in the conversation. There's a lot of teams that are going to be in this top 10 that could.
You're right. There'll be 2 of them in the top. Certainly in the top 10, probably in the top 5. Even though I think
maybe that's not our evaluation.
But yeah. So the point,
guys.
Right. So the bottom line here is that I think the Titans and Will Levis need to win themselves out, for Will Levis's sake, win themselves out of the top 5. Probably they need to be in that range they were in last year, 6, 7, 8, 9, somewhere in there.
Yep.
So I don't know, man. So there's 3 2-win teams right now. Is that right?
No, there are 5 2-win teams.
5 2-win teams.
And then there are 4 3-win teams. Dallas, Carolina, the Jets, and New England all have 3 wins. So yeah, if you have 4 wins, if you're 4-7 like the New Orleans Saints are right now, you're picking 10th in the draft.
Yeah, I think they need to win 3 more games.
Yeah, that's my number 2.
Yeah,
the league records are worse than they have been. There are more bad teams around the league than there have been in the
We talked about it last week. We've hollowed out that middle class. There's no NFL middle class right now.
We go from a couple of 5-5 teams that are like actually contenders a little bit, and then the drop to the bad teams is very sudden and drastic and real.
Crowded in the cellar.
So, all right, well, yeah, there you go. 3 games. Do the Titans have 3 wins in them now? That is another interesting question. We'll see if they do. If Will Levis plays so this, not the impromptu question we're going to get to, but
Right.
a different impromptu question.
Okay.
Easy yes or no. I think I know where you're going to go based on what you said earlier. But if Will Levis plays like he has the last 2 weeks, the rest of the way, do the Titans get 3 more wins?
Yeah, I certainly think so. I mean, when you throw that schedule graphic back up there, you're getting at least one of the Jaguars games. I think both of them is in play with the state of that franchise. You know, they may very well have fired their coach when you play them. Their quarterback will continue to be.
They get that interim bump.
Well, that's right. Titans fans need to be praying against a week 13 or a week 16 Jaguars firing, because that interim bump is almost undefeated. It's a tough scene when you have to play the interim.
Well, it's interesting, man. I think what Titans fans are rooting for right now, that like is
maybe that's right. Good point, actually.
Like Titans fans, I think this is fair. I'm not going to be the one to say it, but the best thing for the Titans, and this will get into, actually, I'll save it because this is my theory. We've got a lot of this. What's best and not best for them.
Okay.
And it's messy. So
yeah. So
right.
the Titans themselves should be rooting against that happening.
Correct.
Because they want to win the game.
You want to win football games, so that
right. I think both of those Jaguars games. I think the Colts game. Sneaky. I think the Bengals could. I mean, like, at what point do the Bengals just give up? Like, the vibes are bad. The vibes are bad.
You can't.
I know you don't literally give up, but like, when does their spirit get broken?
Dude, I'm sorry. You're too good of a football team. You can still win out. Like, I refuse to quit the Cincinnati Bengals this year. They have the quarterback who is maybe playing the best football in the NFL right now.
I agree.
Year. And when you have that quarterback, like, I can't do it. I look up every week and I'm just like, wow, the Bengals are playing.
I think they could keep winning too. I wonder if eventually, because like, every week that they continue to lose despite having the best quarterback and the best receiver playing ball, it's like it physically hurts me, and I'm not a fan of the team. So imagine how they feel.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think if there's any reason not, like, I think it helps that the Bengals have kind of been here before. They've had a couple of years that have looked a little bit dire around this time, gotten hot late, and, you know, make a run. Mm-hmm. King Beezy comes in with a super chat that I'll get to after I, give you a nice little break from some of our partners, because I have a theory, not just about Titans fans, but going to ask some interesting questions, put Easton's feet to the fire about what's best for this franchise.
Okay.
So going to tell everybody about Farm Bureau health plans. Before we do it, better coverage, better rates, better service. Learn more about a plan for you at fbhp.com/ATOZ. Farm Bureau Health Plans has been serving Tennesseans for over 75 years, and a lot has changed in Tennessee over the years, but some things have stayed the same. One of those things is Farm Bureau Health Plans. They've always valued personal relationships, especially when it comes to good health and good service. Plan on Farm Bureau for health, dental, and vision. So for better rates, better coverage, and better service, go to fbhp.com/ATOZ.
We're also brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Use our bonus code ATOZ Sports when you sign up today to get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets. Titans 8.5-point dogs on the road against the Houston Texans this week. If you are so inclined to bet on or against the Titans, do so with our friends at BetMGM using that bonus code ATOZ Sports, and you can maybe feel a little bit better about backing the Titans if you want to take a swing there, because they're going to insure your bet. So if you are proven a moron for doing so, don't worry. They'll get you your money back in bonus bets. No sweat, but only if you use our bonus code ATOZ Sports when you sign up with BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas.
All right. Easton, let me start my little impromptu question/theory here by asking you.
Okay.
What is the best case scenario for the Titans the rest of the way? And I'll leave that relatively open-ended, but I particularly want you to focus on wins and losses and quarterback play.
Okay.
And what do you feel like would put the organization in the best place possible?
Well, I mean, technically from a team...
Or what would you be rooting for if you were a Titans fan right now?
Yeah, so technically from a team building standpoint, best case is always for your quarterback to work, because it's a bird in the hand, right? So best case is Will Levis flips a switch, he's your guy, and you win a bunch of games because he's epic. But many people would say, okay, let's come back down to reality and figure out what's actually possible. Fair. So that being out of the way, the reasonable thing for fans to root for right now, as tenuous a situation it may be for the Titans to end up shopping in that top shelf section of the store at the end of the year, like we were talking about, and as difficult a decision it would be for them, and as much of a bummer it might be for Will Levis because he'd be on the hot seat, it is the best case scenario for the team at this point, considering the fact that the season is over in terms of a playoff push. You're going to be doing some semblance of rebuilding or retooling this offseason anyways. And so at this point, best case is for you to have the most value in your war chest when you get to the offseason. And that means having the highest picks. So I think that losing is ultimately in the best interest of the franchise long term. It's probably not in the best interest of the players currently on the team or the coach, and that's something you have to balance. But I think games like last week were kind of your fever dream best case scenario where it's just fluky and weird and you feel kind of good about it despite it being an ugly loss on paper. I don't know how many times you can do that in a row to finish the season and still feel good about it. Eventually, like, that dam will break. So it's tricky, but ultimately I'd probably be rooting for them to lose more games than they win and look as good as possible while they're doing it.
I think that's the fever dream, right? I think that's the number one dream. And so what is objectively best for the team would be a world where Will Levis is the guy.
Right.
If it, like, I know a lot of you guys in the chat are not Levis guys. It is better for the Titans if Will Levis is awesome and he is your future at quarterback than if you have to reset and draft a new quarterback.
It's just a fact for anybody. Any team wants their quarterback to work. That's good for your team.
If Will Levis is your guy, now whatever you have in the draft can be used for anything else. You can trade it down. You can take a different player. You can add top tier talent. So that is the best case scenario. But I think there are 4 scenarios that could happen. And it's funny because sometimes what I think is actually best for the team is not realistic for the team. Like, so there's Levis plays good and you win some games. Now you're no longer in the quarterback top tier. Levis is playing really good. You don't draft a quarterback. There's Levis plays good and you lose a bunch of games. Now you have to decide, whether it's Levis or whether it's one of these top guys in the draft, but you actually get a top pick. I think that scenario is the one that I would put the star next to and say that one is an ideal for a Titans fan. Levis plays really well, but you lose some games.
Sure.
Then there's Levis plays bad and you win some games, which might seem like the worst case scenario. However, it also provides you an answer and keeps you out of purgatory in a sense. And then there's the Levis playing bad that loses you games, which is the easiest decision you could possibly have in replacing him. Now, the reason that I bring this up is because I do find it very interesting. The scenario that we all would like to see happen is Will Levis playing very good, and the Titans still get a top draft pick, and they have all of this draft capital and ammunition. And yet, is there a danger or a fear that exists? Because my fear for the Titans is Daniel Jones.
Oh God!
Not actually Daniel Jones.
Oh, okay.
Not Daniel Jones being a Titan next season, but playing yourself into this spot where you convince yourself that it's going to work with Will.
Sure.
And you hit a point where you have to pay the quarterback, and he looks good enough, but you don't take the opportunity to go and get the different guy, and now you're stuck with the wrong quarterback. And that is my fear about Levis the rest of the way this year, is that the better he looks, the more encouraging it gets. And yet the better he looks and the more blurred the line gets on whether or not we're in or out on him, the more dangerous of a position it becomes for Ran Carthon and Brian Callahan to make this assessment and determine what's best for their organization long term. You don't want, that is the problem. That right there is the issue. I don't know. Like the chat is all over it, but I was thinking about this and like it would be amazing if Will Levis is a star and you lose a bunch of games and have the number 1 or number 2 overall pick. But then what do you do with the pick?
Right.
Like
Right.
Will Levis looks great, but Daniel Jones looked great with the Giants for a year here and a pocket of games here.
Yeah.
That game, that team that won a playoff game with Daniel Jones, they thought they were on the trajectory.
Yeah, he played like 7 good games in a row. Yeah.
Well, what are we looking at? What are we talking about right now?
Yes.
7 good games in a row potentially for Will.
Yes, but those like I understand your theory, and it is a fair concern. 2 reasons why I'm not particularly worried about it at this point. 1, they don't have to pay Will for a while. They're not in a position like the Giants were where they had to figure it out after that season. It was like
you went next year. Next year you got to pay him after next season.
Yeah, I know, but the Giants had to pay him after that season.
Sure,
you know what I mean. So like, if they go through next season, and wait, no, they don't have to pay him after next season.
Well, you would have to pay him. Typically, I would assume you'd pay him before his contract is up.
Not if he's questionably mid.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I guess
you know what I mean. Like you can just ride that contract for the next 2 years.
It's dangerous though, if you're a team.
It is, and you may end up having to pay a lot more for a guy if you think he's the guy. But the other reason why I'm not all concerned about it is because I think there's going to be a little bit of a backlash in terms of quarterback contracts based on what we've seen recently. You've got guys like Lawrence and Daniel Jones who have made a gajillion and $7, and teams around the league are looking at that like, maybe they kind of jumped the gun. Maybe they convinced themselves. Maybe they felt like they had to, and now they're stuck a little bit. I don't think that, Russell Wilson, if you want to go back a little bit further, I don't think that they're going to fall into that same trap. Maybe they will, and then we'll have to talk about what a mistake it was. But I'm not worried about that today, although I do understand the concern about that generally 100%. And when they make a decision on him, they need to be certain. And if their decision is to stick with the guy, like we need to see a lot more than what we've seen so far. I think you would, in terms of paying him to be the guy, I don't think there's anything he could do in the next 7 games that would convince me that's a good idea.
I would agree with that for sure.
Yeah. Anything.
Well, but it's not always because you are right about like the contract situation, right? I guess, you don't have to pay him. You could always roll into 2026 on, hey, this is the last year of your deal. And if he plays well, you just franchise tag him and you like keep him around until you get a deal that like that. You could do that.
Right.
But the side of it that it does matter is the opportunity cost, like you have said, of the draft. It was, let's use Chicago again because we just talked about them in a somewhat similar position. The Bears got lucky. The Bears got very fortunate.
Yeah.
That they made what you would maybe consider the wrong call. It's hard because they won the trade with Carolina. They fleeced Carolina in this trade that got them the pick. But they did, I think, make the wrong call because CJ Stroud is available in the draft and they chose to stuck with Justin Fields. Now, they got lucky because Carolina sucked so bad the next year. Carolina took the wrong guy, and that changed everything for the Bears.
Correct.
Carolina takes CJ Stroud. They win more games. The Bears are stuck with Justin Fields and not developing like they hope and the 10th pick in the draft. And you go, I don't know what to do with this. Because Carolina took the wrong guy, the Bears were able to get number 1 and save themselves from maybe a misevaluation of Justin Fields. I don't know if you're going to get that lucky again. I don't know if you're going to be picking in the top 3 again, if you're the Titans, and that is where you end up this year.
Right.
I mean, if you have a chance at one of the top quarterbacks and Will Levis looks awesome, it's not even about paying Levis and him being the future. It's about passing on the guy that might be. And you might look back and be like, damn, why didn't we take Cam Ward for Will Levis? We really tried to put it all on the line for Will Levis. And then at the same time, if he's looking like he could be the guy, you don't want to let him go. You don't want to let him walk away, especially after the work that Brian Callahan has put into him this year. And it's a thing we got jobs on the line because
Bingo.
this problem, this very complex issue is the most important thing going on with the Tennessee Titans right now.
Mhm.
And the Callahan Carthon era will be defined by the decision that they make and whether or not it's the right one.
Yes, correct. And so that's why the next 7 games are so important. That's because this is the launching pad for that decision. And it's not one that they're going to necessarily make this offseason. But to your point, depending on how these next 7 games go, they absolutely could be forced to have to. I mean, that's the first stop on this decision-making train is if you are shopping in that range, what you do with that meal ticket. And so that's to bring it full circle. That is why it's incumbent on Will Levis to win some games, brother.
Yeah.
Don't give him the opportunity. Don't make this a question in the offseason. And he is the person that can most affect these games. And if he proves he can go out there and be more of a tractor than a trailer in some of these games and win them games, then that will go so far towards him being the guy next year as well.
Yep. Got some super chats to get to before we move on. Curtis says, remember that poll before the season that had Levis ranked damn near last? Check ESPN's QB rankings. Levis is damn near last. Correct. I would say, Curtis, like the challenge that I've put forth, and Easton, I know you have said a few times as well, let's all try and judge Will Levis from return of healthy Will Levis to the end of the season as a different quarterback than the Will Levis that we saw in Act 1 of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Because the guy that was injured, it skewed his numbers. It was atrocious. It didn't look good, but I think there was a lot going on there. And the version of Will Levis that we've seen the last 2 weeks looks more like the quarterback we thought we would see in 2024. I'm not going to finish this season and look back on Will Levis from a statistic standpoint for the whole season and be like, well, is he good or is he bad?
Right.
I might look at it from week 10 and on when Will was healthy and had time to rest and come back. What did he do the rest of the way? So if you're looking league wide, whole season, he's going to be at the bottom. But, I put this in one of my articles, that was not all the way out on Levis as the team's future at quarterback, that over the last 2 weeks, his quarterback rating is at a spot where it would be 6th best in the NFL for the year. So he has performed very well the last 2 games. It's, what does he do with 7 more?
Right.
King VZ came in and said, he'll say it for me. The fans are wanting Levis to play well and the team to lose. King VZ, it's what I want as well. Because guess what makes the best, most fun team to talk about? A team that might have a quarterback and a team that also might have a new quarterback. And a team that
huge for team content. Team content is all over this narrative. Yes.
Yeah. Maybe we get Travis Hunter in Tennessee. Maybe we get, I don't know, top edge rusher in Tennessee. Maybe we get Shedeur Sanders, or maybe it's just Will Levis and it was always Will Levis. So I'm a fan of the content as well. And good Levis, good draft pick are 2 things that are good for content. Andre says the QB free agent class being atrocious and a very meh QB draft might be why Levis gets 25. QB1 this year is QB 4 to 5 last year. Reality matters. Get T-Mac and build. T-Mac.
The receiver from Arizona, whose name no one knows how to say.
Tyroa McMillan.
Yeah, Tetaroa.
I like calling him Tet McMillan.
There's gonna be a lot of nicknaming of him this spring.
Yeah, I mean, is he your
T-Mac
wide receiver
good,
one? Is it Tet McMillan? Is it Luther Burden? There's
good question. Ask me when I've watched them.
Yeah, right. But
I'd say something today. It'd be a guess. I know no more about this class than the average fan watching on Saturdays.
I think this is a good point by Andre, though. I mean, this is ultimately what we're talking about here. Is how does the QB draft and I would not say the free agent class is atrocious. I think the free agent class has some. It doesn't have any like bona fide starters in it.
I'd call it slightly above average.
But I think there's enough intriguing options that a lot of teams are going to look back at the free agent class and the success of guys like Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, yada, yada, yada. We've talked all about them. It's going to create a market where teams are dipping back into the pool of free agent quarterbacks before they reach for a rookie, before they pay the guy that's in-house. I think you'll see a little bit more of that moving forward. Bork says Austin is the NPF of trivia. Well, we've got
Oh,
trivia coming
no.
up, and we have NPF coming up. So
That is Austin is screaming into the void right now. That there's no higher
the
insult
Stanley, there was
for Austin Stanley.
a broken screen somewhere in the
That's
Stanley
right.
household.
You just compared Austin to his least favorite person in the world right now. That is so tough for him. But what's more tough is that, frankly, might be right.
You might be right. Well,
No.
NPF back starting for the Titans at right tackle.
Let's go.
So
Yes.
that's where we're at. And as Easton claps, I ask all of you, we'll be quick with it, but use this as your sound off messaging board. What's one word to describe how you feel about Nicholas Petit-Frere starting at right tackle versus the Texans? He's back, baby. Still starting. One word to describe it while you guys tell me what it is. I'm going to tell you about a place Will Levis might need to check out thanks to Nicholas Petit-Frere starting at right tackle. It's the Bone and Joint Institute. Bro is going to get hit some more thanks to NPF. The Bone and Joint Institute is the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care located in Franklin. Whenever you get hurt in life, you have to know who to trust. And Bone and Joint Institute is over a dozen specialists who can help you get through any type of injury. A state-of-the-art rehab facility on campus to help in your recovery with everything under one roof. Clinic, testing, imaging, surgery, rehab. It's all there. Maximum convenience under the same roof. Schedule an appointment with them at boneandjointtn.org.
We're also brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Sign up using our bonus code ATOZ Sports today to get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets. That's the BetMGM app right in the palm of your hand. Bonus code ATOZ Sports, the sportsbook born in Vegas.
Oh, okay. All right.
No.
Yeah, Easton.
Just in case you hadn't heard me say it 7,000 times in my life. Yeah.
Dude, fire off some one words. I need to hear some of these one words for what people are feeling about NPF right now.
Here we go. Fireable, size, Sanders, disgusting, chip, as in help, I'd imagine. Just 3 skull and crossbones, manslaughter, poop, exhausting, prey, damn, why, criminal, shadur, barf, diabolical, soft, feast, takeout, breezy, trash, barbecue, routine, Autry. That's right. Welcome back to the Nico Autry revenge game coming up on our television screen shortly. Tanking. Just screaming. Travis Hunter. Turnstile sucks. Robber. I mean, it's all there. It's all the same. As expected. Here's my question. What'd you guys expect? What like yesterday, this news came out. I tweeted it. Ryan Callahan mentioned it in past. Everybody's like, where's the video of it? He just mentioned it on the way out. I think it was like Terry was like, hey, by the way, who's starting this week? And he was like, NPF again. I'll let you know if that changes. And so we all tweeted it out. And then the reaction was like, and it's people throwing their hands up, angry. Like, what? I'm surprised by that. What did you think was going? Like, what was the hope?
Yeah,
what were we hoping for?
Somebody cost this team a lot of points with penalties at right tackle, and it was not NPF.
This is true.
I mean, that's another option.
It's a different story on that a little bit, but yes.
Well, I disagree with you on that front, but those were penalties, big penalties.
You missed a big conversation about this yesterday.
Yeah, we'll look at it. I'll go back and watch it. I mean,
not on the show, at the facility. You missed a big conversation about this.
Yeah, I mean, so Leroy Watson is hurt. He's down. So he will likely not be back this week.
Right.
As Bork asked, Isaiah Prince is healthy and available.
And also, when they say NPF is starting, like he started last week too. Nobody's playing full games anymore. Isaiah, it will look this week just like it did last week. Prince and NPF will rotate. One guy will be 23 snaps. One will be 14. Like
if they're not. John Ajuku will run out there for a couple of snaps. And then...
yeah, he's also still available. I mean, like
also bad.
It's all the same. It's all the same. They're all flavors of the same ice cream, man.
Which is why my one word is just numb.
Yeah,
I'm just numb. I'm like, okay, like you said, yep.
They're the same dude, all 4 of them.
Nick, go get them, buddy.
Right.
Stop somebody, block somebody today, man. You got it.
Yeah, man. Like no one's coming to save you. There is no God here. It's over. Just accept it.
My theory I mean, I guess whatever it is what it is at this point, but I'm like, dude, do anything else. Like, take Daniel Brunskill off center, throw him over at right guard, like right tackle, or move Radens. I don't care, man. Just get somebody who can get their hands on a guy and not get penalized over and over and over again for doing the same thing. Like, just Leroy Watson has a holding problem, face mask problem, gets beat, uses his hands in the wrong ways, backs them up. Isaiah Prince can't line up on the line of scrimmage correctly, keeps getting him backed up and gets him negated on a bunch of plays.
80 yards and a touchdown.
Nicholas Petit-Frere is allergic to putting his hands on somebody. So it's,
Nicholas Petit-Frere is the weakest 320-pound man in the world.
I wouldn't know. I haven't seen him touch anybody. So I don't know how strong he is if he doesn't get his hands on him.
He's never seen an anchor in his life, this guy.
That is true. So yeah, numb. Do you have a word that jumps out? Because that's all I've got on Nicholas Petit-Frere.
Yeah, my word is that's my word. Just noises. Because who cares? It is what it is. Accept it, people. Accept it. Quit getting angry. There's nothing like your anger is not helping anybody or doing anything. I mean, be angry at the situation, but like don't be angry at who they choose on a given week because it doesn't matter who they choose. Is my point.
I would agree.
Robbie L is asking weak or lazy. No, he's not lazy. He's just not. This is not for lack of trying. Not lazy,
not weak,
just not good.
I don't know if he's even weak. I think he might be plenty strong. I just think he's uncoordinated with his hands. Does not know how to get his hands on guy. Not lazy. Very much wants to be good at football.
We're not. This is not personal. It's not MPF. Nice dude. I got nothing against MPF. I don't believe he's lazy. Hard worker. Just not good at football is the problem.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Tough.
All right.
He's in the NFL, so get your bag. Whatever.
Easton, who's the trivia master today?
You can actually, since you're a remote setup, I can do it for us.
Yeah. All right. There we go. Nice. That's exactly what I wanted to hear.
Well, just say that, man. It's okay. You can just ask me to do it. I'm happy to oblige.
All right. Bonus trivia coming at you on a Thursday morning. It's brought to you by Wilson County Hyundai. Make Wilson County Hyundai part of your new car buying process in Lebanon or at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Forget those downtown Nashville prices in Lebanon or at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Easton, are you ready?
Almost. I don't
even know.
Yes.
Hang on. Oh, here we go. There's trivia. Yeah, here we go. Bang.
Ooh, that was tight.
I'm Austin Stanley for this, but that's okay. Maybe they have to nerf me somehow. They put oh wait.
I saw somebody in the chat earlier, by the way, said because we already established Austin Stanley as the MPF of trivia, which is unfair. But D'Amico says Austin Stanley is the MPF of the age game, which is factually
that is true.
That part is no exaggeration whatsoever.
Yeah.
Sam and I and Zach are, I think, career 3-3 in the age game. And Austin is 1-427.
A combined perfect score. and Austin just never. Well, yeah, we got it fixed. Thankfully, we didn't need Austin Stink coming around here on a Thursday morning trivia. His stink was going to bring everything else.
It's so unfair to Austin.
And there's no Major League Baseball. Are you kidding?
No way. That's crazy. That every time it's me and Austin, and we're trying to avoid it.
I'm waiting. Give me more MLB.
Austin's screaming right now. This is outrageous. Because we might need him for the NBA. I mean, shoot. Yeah. All right. So we'll do NFL first, and then anybody in the chat got something that they're dying to get on this morning.
I'll rip categories as we go, but let's start with
DeMarco, not D'Amico. I got the Texans on my mind this week.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
So okay, we'll go NFL, and then we'll go clockwise.
I'm looking at the chat. I'll call the next category based on what I see in the chat here. So
okay, all right.
You want.
Here we go. NFL. A round 3 pick out of Middle Tennessee State. This 2-time All-Pro safety. We know who this is.
Kevin Byard. Wow.
How fortuitous that question is for us. Let's go geography.
Yep.
Along with nicknames like the Nutmeg State and the Blue Law State, this U.S. state has the Constitution State on its license plate. Yep.
Connecticut.
Television. Latin American actor's big break was his supporting role with foreign exchange student Fez in That 70s Show. Oh, what's his name?
Oh, it starts with a W.
I know the guy.
Is it Willander?
Willard?
No, Willander. Try Willander.
Will and
No, one word. One word.
Willander.
Willander. Try one L.
Wilkmer, people are saying, or
No.
Wilmer?
It's Valderrama is right. Wilmer Valderrama.
This one.
Yes. Okay.
Movies. Panned by critics, this 2012 military sci-fi action film based on the board game starred Taylor Kitsch.
Battleship.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It was a bad movie.
Very bad movie.
Music. Known for his pop ballads, this male singer has #1 hits with his 1989 cover of How Am I Supposed to Live Without You and his 91 cover When a Man Loves a Woman.
Michael Bolton.
I've not heard Michael Bolton in a while.
Great cover.
What major pizza chain offered a bat-shaped calzone pizza as a cross promotion with the 2022 film The Batman?
No idea. I am horrible at these chain restaurants.
Yeah, I don't eat enough fast food for these things. So like we're thinking Papa John's, Pizza Hut.
I usually go, it's got to be like Pizza Hut or Little Caesars.
Papa John's is what DeMarco says. Anybody else?
We got Pizza Hut.
The calzone.
The calzone pizza.
People were saying Pizza Hut. Okay.
The Pizza Hut move. Little Caesars from Jacoby. Little Caesars now coming in.
People are saying Pizza Hut because of calzone.
We're pretty split. All right. Right now, Little Caesars or Pizza Hut? Put it in the chat. Little Caesars or Pizza Hut? Little Caesars.
People are saying Little Caesars, book it. All right. It's on you guys. All right. Known for his shot blocking and ability to stretch the floor as a shooter, big man Rafe LaFrentz got drafted 3rd overall by this Western Conference team at 98.
Denver.
Okay. 90s basketball, not my bag. College football. Tevin Coleman rushed for over 2,000 yards in his final year of the Big Ten at this Big Ten school in 2014. You're the Big Ten guy.
Indiana? Because he was
saying,
in a duo. It was him and Jordan Howard, I think.
Indiana from Caleb.
I think Jordan Howard played with him.
Tevin Coleman. People should know this. Indiana people are saying.
Okay, that was what came to mind for me. So, Indiana University. Yeah.
Indiana. A lot of Indianas. Okay. And celeb mashup. Ooh. That's Watson from the Sherlock films. What's his name? Yeah, Jude Law. Right? Don't you think?
Yeah.
And I don't know who that is.
Is that Deborah Messing?
Sure. I don't know. This is a cursed one. I hate this image.
This is awful.
Who is that in the middle? What is Deborah Messing from?
Oh man.
People are saying Deborah Messing. Who would I know her? What would I know her from?
I don't know. I don't know what you.
People are saying Deborah Messing.
It might be Deborah Messing. Yeah. It's. You
want to give it a shot here?
Grey's Anatomy. Abraham Lincoln and Chucky. If we can put that in. Try it. Why not?
All right. Almost sub 4, 9 for 9. We'll take it. Big ups to the chat for helping out on a couple of those.
We gotta get rid of these chain restaurant questions or whatever.
I know it's the Barstool guys. They eat a lot of fast food, I suppose.
Impossible.
It feels like every other one is about a pizza joint special, and I'm like, guess I'm not eating enough fast food pizza because I don't know, man. Like the only fast food pizza special I can name off the top of my head is the Shaq-a-Roni.
It really does feel like it's pizza pretty much every time. And
because I think the Barstool guys just order pizza to the Chicago offices every day, and they know all the specials about the top of their head, and they just like to.
Oh, I remember when we got the crazy cheesy crust pizza.
The calzone, remember that with the 22 Batman promotion? No, man.
No. That's no. And I'm allowed to say I'm proud of the chat that the chat didn't know that right away. Like that took.
Yeah, honestly, if you're all over that, I'm kind of thinking a little differently of you.
Order a little bit less pizza.
Right. Let's pick some healthier options.
This is what we need to do. This is what Austin needs to do on trivia: is just shame people for knowing stuff.
That's right.
If you knew the answer to that question, honestly, I don't like.
You better work at Little Caesars corporate, because brother, I got questions.
Yeah. If you know who Deborah Messing is, you're watching a few too many films, brother. Like you gotta.
Oh, big Grey's Anatomy fan, huh? You watch all 30 seasons of that?
Yeah. You watched Will and Grace just a little bit too much.
Okay. Well, I think, yeah. I hear Will and Grace was very popular, so that's okay.
Yes.
I'm not going to get that picture out of my head of the Deborah Messing Jude Law combo.
There's a lot of, that was a good poll on Jude Law, by the way. I would not have gotten that.
It was the hairline for me.
I mean, it is distinct. I just,
yeah, hard to
Jude
miss
Law
that one.
does not live in my brain like that. So
I'm trying to think of what else I know Jude Law from besides. I mean, the Sherlock Holmes movies are awesome, so those are fun.
you know who the outline kind of looked like is the dude from You.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't have that hairline, I guess, but the head, I could have seen it.
Mm-hmm. What's his name? He's also from Gossip Girl. I don't know.
Yeah.
And This Is Us, I think he's on that too.
I should know his name.
I know. I do know it. I just
this is. Are you looking it up? What are you doing? You took a very deep breath there.
I'm looking it up.
This is great podcasting.
If people are still here, they're not leaving. Penn Badgley.
All right. Well, if you're still here, like the show before you head out. Easton and I are looking at the brink of getting fired. Actually, right now we did not hit our light goal,
guys.
So
it's our livelihood. Help us out.
Hammer it. We need
on the way out. One time.
8 more. I'm looking at all of you.
8 brave souls.
I'm not ending the show until we hit the mark. So,
there's one.
7 more. 7 more. You guys know who you are.
We're not above begging.
Waiting. We need 4 more.
4 more.
Good pump.
Shaming Easton for knowing Gossip Girl. I have a wife who puts it on all the time. I see it in the background. I also know that.
Know that, bro. You should not know that. Like,
whatever.
I got questions now.
That show has more people in it than you would think. Who's the guy that have you seen The Boys on Amazon?
I've not seen it, but
it's awesome. The guy who plays the Deep, he's in that, which is kind of funny if you've seen The Boys, because he plays a very buttoned up character on that show. And not on The Boys.
All right.
I do not watch Gossip Girl. It's a terrible television show. I tell my wife that every time I see it. It's awful.
It might be good, though.
It's not. I've watched too much of it to know it's not good.
Okay. All right.
The Boys is dope, according to Andre, and he's right. We need 2 more people. Come on.
Whatever. We'll get it. I'm sure. I trust you guys. In the next 30 seconds, we'll hammer out 2 more likes and not get Easton and I fired. And if we're not back tomorrow, then it's on you, frankly. If you do get those likes in and I'm not fired, I'm with Austin Stanley tomorrow morning, A to Z Sports Morning Show. Once again, keep it locked on AtoZSports.com. Easton going to have some content and coverage from Titans facility today as we hear from the coordinators, Denard Wilson, Nick Holtz, and Colt Anderson. That guy's still around, huh? Till next time, tighten up. We'll see you guys later.